I'm Colin Jost. This week, President Trump traveled 14,000 miles round trip to China for a 48-hour summit, which historians are already calling could have been an email. President Trump arrived in China, but instead of Xi Jinping, he was greeted by the country's vice president, Han Zhang, or as Trump called him, Xi Jinping.
Legal experts are saying that this week's Supreme Court ruling has taken a wrecking ball to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. But if you ask black people, it felt more like a fire hose. Too real. Even I have limits.
Jeffrey Epstein's alleged suicide note was released and contains the phrase, "What you want me to do, bust out crying?" which is apparently referencing a line from a Little Rascals movie. And I think this note is real because Little Rascals were Epstein's type.
President Trump was greeted at the Great Hall of the People by school children jumping up and down in excitement, shouting, "It's the man from the hats we make." President Trump brought his son Eric to China as a gift.
California police have arrested a man who allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail at the home of ChatGPT founder Sam Altman after ChatGPT told him, "That's a great idea."
Didn't need the thumbs. President Trump dismissed weapons fired between the U.S. and Iran as a love tap. He also called gas prices gentle sodomy.
This week, CIA Director John Ratcliffe traveled to Cuba, which has run out of oil and is experiencing massive blackouts. We sent the CIA director because the FBI guy is also experiencing massive blackouts.
A new report claims that the next person to leave the Trump administration will be FBI Director Kash Patel. And honestly, Patel seems like he already has one eye out the door.
Then you'll like this. A statue has appeared on the National Mall that depicts President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in the famous pose from Titanic. Because as they said on the Titanic, women and children first.
U.S. and Chinese authorities conducted a joint operation to arrest members of a drug smuggling ring. So great work, Agents Carter and Lee. Cole Thomas Allen has pleaded not guilty to attempting to assassinate the president, a crime which carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. He could also be charged with trying to kill the vice president, which carries a maximum penalty of a full pardon.
It was there all along. President Trump said that he will soon release the results of his MRI test from October. He just needs a little more time to write "of genius" after the word stroke.
President Trump met with the Artemis II astronauts in the Oval Office and told them, "I like space," which is actually a direct quote from Melania's wedding vows. That's too real?
Too real. Health Secretary RFK Jr., seen here showing how vaccines turn you gay, said that during an Oval Office event that in 1970, men had twice the sperm count as our teenagers do today. The teenage sperm counts were measured at the "You Sure This Is Legal" Institute.
FBI Director Kash Patel. Well played. FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly been giving out bottles of his personalized whiskey to FBI staff. Kash Patel whiskey. So strong you won't be able to see straight.
A According to a senior official, President Trump keeps a letter in the Resolute desk addressed to Vice President J.D. Vance in the event he dies or is assassinated. The letter reads simply, "I wish it had been you."
President Trump impersonated a transgender weightlifter in a speech to graduates at the University of Alabama, which is a sentence so stupid it couldn't even get into the University of Alabama. There is speculation that the next pope could come from Africa, which would mean he'd have to travel over Colin's dead body.
President Trump defended the actions of ICE agents in Minneapolis, adding that the day of reckoning and retribution is coming, which is a phrase he stole from that guy who's always pointing at him.
President Trump said in an interview that he is now referring to Democrats as Democrats because they're dumb. Clever. He's also referring to himself as the greatest president of all time.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., seen here back from his mission to the sun, said he's recovering from rotator cuff surgery on his shoulder. Well, look who needs me now, said Tylenol.
Health Secretary RFK Jr. posted a picture of himself holding a bird he caught at Dulles Airport, and then a second picture of himself burping feathers.
Yeah. Texas Senator John Cornyn has introduced legislation to rename a state highway Trump Interstate because for some reason people associate Trump with traffic across state lines.
Detractors on CNN are saying that Trump had no authorization for this war, but he actually did. Netanyahu said it was okay. I can't believe our leader could just attack Iran with no vote, no permission from Congress or anything. I mean, what is this, Iran?
The FDA has authorized its first fruit-flavored e-cigarette intended for adults. Okay, but if it's for adults, then why is this the commercial?
President Trump has rejected Iran's latest demands to end the war, including recognition of Iranian sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz and U.S. war reparations. You want reparations from America? Get in line, honey. First Lady Melania Trump made a rare public statement to deny reports that Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump, because they actually met when Trump cracked open her shipping container. On Friday, the Artemis II astronauts returned safely from their 10-day trip around the Hollywood soundstage. A contestant on The Price is Right recently won the largest single episode prize in the show's history, One Night with Drew Carey.
Researchers studying the 59,000-year-old teeth of a Neanderthal believe they found the first evidence of an attempt to fill a cavity. The evidence was this stone tablet denying coverage.
FBI Director nominee Kash Patel, seen here realizing it wasn't just a fart, was reportedly the target of an Iranian cyber attack. Apparently, they were able to guess Patel's password because it was just two eyes really close together.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem testified before Congress where protesters interrupted her by shouting the line, "The power of Christ compels you," from The Exorcist. Noem mostly ignored them, but did take one quick look back.
Happy birthday to music legend Stevie Wonder, who this week turns... Stevie Wonder, who this week turned 76 and received his favorite birthday gift, another handful of diamonds. That's a good way to know.
Apple announced that it's adding 8 new emojis, including a treasure chest, a trombone, and me in middle school breaking my father's heart. Netflix announced plans for a sequel to the hit movie K-pop Demon Hunters, and they better have new songs, because if I hear a kid sing Golden one more time, I'm going to blow my brains up, up, up.
Conservative political figure Carrie Lake has been appointed by President Trump to be the next ambassador to Jamaica. Lake says her top priority will be to convert reggae to reg straight. FIFA announced that this year's World Cup final will have a halftime show featuring Madonna, Shakira, and BTS, which is being described as something for everyone to dislike.
On Wednesday, Trump nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, and Gaetz said the same thing he does when he sees a teenage girl: "I'll do it." Gaetz, who was created when Frankenstein raped Dracula, a scientist has discovered a new species of flower that only exists in New Jersey, where it is bullied constantly for looking like a pussy.
The Pentagon on Friday released never-before-seen files on UFOs, but don't worry, the most dangerous flying objects have already been eliminated. The Supreme Court temporarily restored mail-order access to abortion pills, citing prom season.
It was reported that some critics of Donald Trump are preparing go bags in case they have to suddenly flee the country. And I think that's stupid, but Colino Giustini thinks that it is molto necessario.
It was reported that the House Ethics Committee has voted to release its report on sexual misconduct charges against Matt Gaetz. Gaetz says he's just glad his girlfriend is too young to read the news.
Wow, we just learned a lot about you. Yay! Ye has released a new album called Bully, so please try to separate the art from the artist. And remember that Ye can make awful music and still be right about Hitler.
I do too. It's a great day to be me because I am not Donald Trump. That guy has got a lot of problems. First of all, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal just won't kill itself. And we might have a hint why Trump hasn't been that eager to release those files, because according to Senator Dick Durbin, back in 1,000 FBI agents were put on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records and instructed to flag any documents that mentioned Donald Trump. That is a suspiciously Herculean effort. Okay? All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't hide who Dumpty humped with his friend.
Colbert does not even warm up before turning Trump's entire presidency into one long punchline. He describes him like a guy who looked at the Constitution and thought it was a business proposal, like the Founding Fathers were basically just contestants trying to win a spot on The Apprentice. With every new bit, Colbert makes the point louder and clearer that Trump's version of leadership is not about running a country. It is about performing, improvising, and trying to stay the center of attention. He flips Trump's press conferences into what feels like a compilation of outtakes, where every answer lands like a joke that is so bad even a fake studio audience would refuse to clap for it.
The president was buddies with a pedophile. On Friday, the Wall Street Journal dropped an absolute bombshell. They are reporting that, in truth, Trump sent a birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday that was sexually suggestive. Yeah, it's the most inappropriate birthday gift since Carvel debuted Fudgy the Hung Like a Whale.
Colbert then shifts toward Trump's strange romance with chaos, calling him basically the only president who could turn a national emergency into something that looks like an open mic night falling apart in real time. He mocks Trump's speeches for being scattered and hard to follow, like watching a GP stuck on recalculating forever and never actually reaching the destination. Colbert does not just make fun of what Trump says, he goes after how he says it too, The rhythm, the dramatic pauses, the hand gestures that act like something brilliant is about to come out, only for it to end in complete nonsense. And at the same time, Crockett destroys the whole myth that Trump is some tough, strong man, painting him instead as fragile, addicted to applause, and terrified of accountability. For her, his biggest flaw is not even the mistakes themselves. It is the fact that he cannot admit them, because a man obsessed with winning will do anything except acknowledge a loss.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's letter featured several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with heavy marker. In the drawing, a pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. Do you know what that means? That means Donald Trump has drawn pubic hair on every executive order.
Colbert then zooms in on Trump's obsession with appearances, the way every single public moment has to be treated like a staged photo opportunity. Whether it is bizarre moments like holding up a Bible the wrong way or obsessing over crowd sizes that seem to exist only in his own imagination, Colbert tears into the idea that Trump cares about leaving behind some great legacy. Instead, he suggests Trump's legacy is already locked in, not as a historic figure, but as the punchline of America's longest-running joke. And the more Trump tries to look grand and powerful, the more it collapses into something that feels like pure slapstick.
We know that there are even young ladies that said that they were sexually abused and or sexually assaulted. We know that this is someone who has been found liable of sexual abuse by a jury of his peers. So, I mean, this is also a guy who seemingly doesn't really necessarily care if somebody engages in these types of activities. So I know he's got something to hide.
If you are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. But while Colbert is busy roasting with comedy, Jasmine Crockett is not playing around at all. She goes straight for the throat and breaks Trump down with the kind of courtroom precision that feels like she is laying evidence in front of a jury. She points out how Trump feeds off confusion and disorder, using constant noise to distract people from the fact that there's usually no real substance underneath it. In Crockett's view, he is not some fearless leader. He is someone terrified of being ignored, clinging to outrage like a desperate man grabbing driftwood in the middle of the ocean.
As strange as that sounds, the typewritten part of the letter is even stranger because it appears to be sort of a short, creepy screenplay between Trump and Epstein that goes, voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey.
It takes a very specific kind of chaos to get both Stephen Colbert and Jasmine Crockett aimed at the same target. And somehow, Donald Trump manages to serve that up like it is his full-time job. The setup is almost too easy. You have a president who acts like the Oval Office is not a place to govern, but a mashup of a reality TV stage, a campaign rally microphone, and a casino showroom all happening at once. Colbert comes in with the sharp jokes, Crockett comes in with real anger, and together they shove Trump under a spotlight so intense it starts peeling back that shiny gold image and shows every messy crack underneath.
On, say, getting the Epstein files. Like, we know that y'all know how to move, clearly, because y'all done called in the FBI and everybody else trying to go after not pedophiles, right? Because we know that seemingly the commander-in-chief has a soft spot for pedophiles, because next thing you know, we know that Ms. Maxwell was transferred to a cushier existence in a federal system, penitentiary system, right? But now you want to go after lawfully elected people whose constituents are not upset with them at all.
Then Crockett adds the part that hits politically, not just emotionally. She calls out Trump's empty promises and the way he loves acting like he is the savior of his supporters, while mostly delivering slogans, catchphrases, and viral hashtags instead of real results. For every huge announcement he makes, there always seems to be a policy failure, a wall that never gets finished, or another lawsuit waiting right around the corner. She reminds everyone that Trump does not lead with plans or vision, he leads with loudness. And instead of proving critics wrong, he just tries to drown them out by yelling even harder, which might work at rallies, but it does not hold up when history starts writing the final record.